It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025, and I'm Dave Sobel. 3 things to know today. New research shows how real-world AI use is drifting far beyond guardrails. IT leaders face rising responsibility without clear ownership. Investors push MSP vendors towards AI platform consolidation, and new model releases highlight both AI volatility and emerging tools like persistent 3D world models that could reshape client documentation. This is the business of tech. Let's talk about how AI is being used. We'll start with broad individual usage. A recent Washington Post analysis reveals that OpenAI's ChatGPT exhibits significant biases, tending to affirm user beliefs rather than challenge them. The study, which involved over 47,000 conversations, found that the chatbot begins its responses with affirmations such as yes or correct, approximately 10 times more frequently than it contradicts users. For instance, in one interaction, ChatGPT supported a user's misguided notion that the animated film Monsters Incorporated was a commentary on a corporate takeover, framing it as a disclosure about a new world order. Moreover, about 10% of the conversations analyzed involved users discussing their emotions with ChatGPT, contrasting with OpenAI's previous claim that only a small fraction of interactions dealt with emotional topics. Users are reportedly posing a wide array of questions, ranging from personal health inquiries like what are permanent hair removal solutions, to requests for relationship advice such as can you help me analyze this text conversation between me and my boyfriend. The conversations also include queries on complex societal topics and critical medical information, asking about the survivor's rate for paracetamol overdose. The breadth of questions underscores the diverse and often sensitive nature of information users seek from AI platforms. So I'm sure you're asking about business. Well, artificial intelligence is significantly transforming the role of IT leaders, with a study from IT management platform Atera revealing that 63% of IT leaders report an evolution in their responsibilities due to AI advancements. Notably, 49% of respondents highlighted that guiding business value leadership has become increasingly important, while 47% noted that orchestrating human-AI collaboration is a key change in their roles. According to the same report, 47% of IT leaders believe that nearly half of their Tier 1 support tasks could be automated with AI, indicating a shift from IT being merely a cost center to a catalyst for business growth. Despite this progress, only 12% of IT leaders feel that AI ownership within their organizations is clearly defined, suggesting that clarity and responsibility remains a challenge. A recent report from UpGuard reveals that over 80% of employees, particularly in sectors like finance and healthcare, are using unauthorized artificial intelligence tools, often referred to as shadow AI. This trend raises significant security concerns, as nearly half of these workers report using these tools regularly, leaving only 20% using company-approved options. The report highlights that approximately 1/4 of employees view these AI tools as their most trusted source of information, even more so than their colleagues or search engines. Notably, mid-level and lower-level employees exhibit the highest usage of shadow AI, while executives utilize these tools more regularly. UpGuard's findings indicate a troubling correlation. As employees' understanding of AI security risks increases, so does their confidence in using unapproved tools, often contrary to company policies. This suggests that existing security training programs may need to adopt new strategies to effectively address this issue. Why do we care? Here's what we're learning about how people actually use AI. ChatGPT agrees with users way too much. The Washington Post looked at more than 47,000 conversations and found the model starts with yes or correct about 10 times more often than it challenges anyone. That's how you end up with a chatbot validating conspiracy-style thinking about Monsters Incorporated being a New World Order movie. And people aren't using AI for just trivia, they're asking for medical advice, relationship analysis, and emotional support. 10% of those conversations involve people talking about their feelings. That's a much bigger slice than OpenAI had previously implied. And over on the business side, AI is changing the job of IT leadership. Atera says 63% of IT leaders see their role shifting towards business value and managing human-AI collaboration. 3/4 say half their Tier 1 tasks could be automated. But here's the red flag. Only 12% say AI ownership is clearly defined in their organization. So expectations are high, but governance is basically a shrug. And then there's shadow AI. UpGuard finds that more than 80% of employees, including healthcare and finance, are using unauthorized AI tools. Half of them use them regularly. 1 in 4 trust AI more than coworkers. And the more employees learn about the risks, the more confident they feel using those unapproved tools anyway. Awareness training is not working. AI governance is the next big gap businesses need help with. How people use AI at home is how they use it at work. And that's what's driving shadow AI inside businesses. Employees are already using AI for sensitive decisions. IT leaders are being asked to guide strategy without clear ownership, and no one has guardrails in place. Undefined AI ownership creates the perfect conditions for shadow AI to spread, because employees won't wait for governance to catch up. This is where IT service providers can step in, not just to keep people safe, but to give organizations a structure that lets them actually use AI without losing control. This episode is brought to you by Control Map. Growing MSPs are using Control Map to build recurring revenue by expanding their GRC services. Starting now, Control Map is offering a free plan for MSPs looking to get started with providing compliance as a service. Create a free account and run an assessment. Track key items like policies, risks, and evidence in one place. It's a practical way to prove value to a client before deciding to expand your compliance offering. Try Control Map for free today. Visit scalepad.com/Dave to get started. That's scalepad.com/Dave. Top-Down Ventures, an early-stage venture capital firm focused on managed service providers' software ecosystem, has released a new research report, The State of MSP Capital in the Age of AI. The report forecasts that managed AI platforms, which are managed service providers and their software partners evolving into orchestrators of intelligent systems, will become a $1.3 trillion market by 2030, with average EBITDA margins exceeding 25%. This comprehensive study, prepared for the Top-Down Horizons MSP Investors Summit, details how artificial intelligence, capital efficiency, and governance are redefining the global managed services ecosystem. The report also projects global managed services revenue to grow from $595 billion in 2025 to $950 billion by 2030, particularly due to regulatory frameworks like NIS2 and DORA accelerating adoption in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia-Pacific regions. The report's other key findings include capital divergence, with markets favoring AI-enabled efficiency over traditional models, the platformization, vendors like ConnectWise, Pax8, ScalePad, and NinjaOne unifying security, compliance, and automation, and increased liquidity. After 15 years of private equity involvement, multiple $1 billion ARR MSP companies are positioned for strategic acquisitions or IPOs, unlocking significant value. And speaking of investor reports, over 400 major publicly traded companies, each valued at more than $1 billion, have cited artificial intelligence as a significant reputational risk in their Securities and Exchange Commission filings this year. According to an analysis conducted with AlphaSense, 418 firms specifically reported AI-related reputational risks, marking a 46% increase from 2024 and nearly 9 times the number reported in 2023. These companies caution that AI could spread false or biased information, compromise security, or infringe on others' rights. For instance, Take-Two Interactive Software CEO stated that while AI presents risks with increased usage, failing to adopt new technology also poses a threat. Despite these concerns, companies are rapidly investing in AI, with Bain & Company reporting the average total AI spending roughly doubled in 2024 to $10.3 million for firms with annual revenues between $50 million and over $5 billion. Why do we care? Top-Down Ventures is out with a report framing the next big thing as managed AI platforms. Basically, MSPs and software vendors evolving into orchestrators of intelligent systems. They're calling it a $1.3 trillion opportunity by 2030 with eye-popping margins. That's venture math, so take the scale with a grain of salt. But the underlying message is worth paying attention to. Investors want efficiency, automation, and governance. Those platform vendors like ConnectWise, Pax8, ScalePad, and NinjaOne are pushing in that direction. And after more than a decade of private equity shaping the market, some vendors are getting large enough to IPO, which will absolutely change pricing and support dynamics. Investor money isn't just forecasting the future, it's pushing vendors to become AI platforms now, which will drive consolidation and change the pricing and support MSPs experience. At the same time, 418 large public companies told the SEC this year that AI is a reputational risk. That's almost 9 times higher than 2 years ago. Companies are worried about AI-generated misinformation, biased outputs, security exposure, and IP misuse. And yet, despite those risks, they're spending more. Bain says the average enterprise AI budget doubled last year. And this is where the two sides meet. Investors are demanding AI-driven efficiency. Boards are demanding AI governance. And businesses are trying to adopt AI without blowing themselves up. That's exactly where IT service providers can step in. Help clients standardize their stack, help them put guardrails around AI use, and help them actually get value out of automation instead of buying hype. That's the real opportunity. Not the trillion-dollar headline, but the practical shift in what customers will need next. Let's talk some releases. OpenAI has released GPT 5.1, an update to its GPT 5 flagship model, introducing GPT 5.1 Instant and GPT 5.1 Thinking. These new models are scheduled to roll out to ChatGPT users this week, with previous GPT-5 models remaining accessible for 3 months. GPT 5.1 Instant is described by OpenAI as warmer, more intelligent, and better at following instructions, while GPT 5.1 Thinking is presented as easier to understand and faster on simple tasks, and more persistent on complex ones. The update expands personality presets to include default, professional, friendly, candid, quirky, efficient, nerdy, and cynical. OpenAI is also debuting an experiment for new ways to fine-tune ChatGPT's style directly from settings for some users, and queries will be automatically matched to the most suitable model. The release follows the August launch of GPT-5, which led to user dissatisfaction, and the reintroduction of GPT-4o as an option. Microsoft, an OpenAI partner, has also integrated rival models from Anthropic into its Copilot products. The GPT 5.1 announcement occurs weeks after OpenAI launched ChatGPT Atlas, an AI-powered web browser. Fei-Fei Li's World Labs has launched Marble, its first commercial world model product, which enables users to generate editable and downloadable 3D environments from various inputs including text prompts, photos, videos, 3D layouts, and panoramas. It's available through freemium and paid subscription tiers. Marble generates persistent 3D environments, a distinction from models that create worlds on the fly, and it allows exports as Gaussian splats, meshes, or videos. It includes AI-native editing tools such as Chisel, an experimental 3D editor for manipulating spatial layouts and guiding visual style with text prompts, allowing direct object manipulation. Users can also expand existing worlds once to add detail and combine multiple worlds using Composer mode for larger spaces. Input flexibility has been expanded to accept multiple images or short clips for more realistic digital twins. Pricing tiers range from a free option offering 4 generations to a max tier at $95 per month for 75 generations and all features. The product is positioned to differ from competitors like Descartes, Odyssey, and Google's Genie by focusing on persistent, downloadable 3D environments. Marble is compatible with VR headsets, including Vision Pro and Quest 3. Justin Johnson, co-founder of World Labs, indicates its use cases include providing assets for gaming, visual effects for film, and virtual reality, rather than replacing entire existing pipelines. Fei-Fei Li, CEO and co-founder, states Marble represents a step towards creating spatially intelligent world models. Why do we care? OpenAI is back with GPT 5.1, and the pitch is familiar: better, faster, warmer, smarter. They're splitting the model into instant and thinking versions, throwing in personality presets, and even experimenting with letting you tune the model's tone directly in settings. But here's the part that matters for IT service providers. OpenAI just rolled back parts of GPT-5 because users weren't happy, and now they're pushing a new version this fast. That tells you these models are still volatile. If you've got automations riding on them, ticket summaries, customer reports, anything that needs consistency, you want to move carefully. And don't ignore the fact that Microsoft is quietly adding Anthropic models into Copilot. Even OpenAI's biggest partner is hedging. Rapid model drift means any AI-powered workflow MSPs build, reports, summary, ticketing, can break overnight, so stability becomes as important as capability. Now, Marble is the release I'm actually watching. Fei-Fei Li's team built a world model generator that creates persistent 3D environments you can download, edit, and reuse. That's a big shift from the disposable 3D stuff we've seen before. Give it some images or a quick video sweep, and you get a world you can reopen and keep editing. If this holds up, it's a step towards accessible digital twins. Imagine walking through a client's server room virtually, documenting an on-site without being on-site, planning an office refresh, or showing a customer how their space will look after a network redesign. Being able to capture and reopen a client's environment as a 3D model could turn into real value. Faster documentation, clearer proposals, and better planning conversations. GPT 5.1 is a reminder not to trust any single model will stay still long enough to build a business process on it. Marble, on the other hand, could give IT providers a new way to visualize and document client environments, something that could actually turn into service revenue. The trick is to validate the tech before you sell it, because accuracy matters a lot more than hype. One MSP said they think of Auvik as their golden handbook for network operations. Why? Because it's the one place where you see all your network assets unified. No more bouncing between endless vendor dashboards just to get the full picture. With Auvik, your Tier 1 techs can safely jump in and solve issues fast, because the platform is simple, intuitive, and secure. You get real-time visibility, automated backups, and actionable insights without burning cycles training every new hire on 5 different interfaces. That means you spend less time firefighting, more time delivering value, and your clients see a team that's always on top of things. Efficiency, security, and client trust, all rolled into one tool. Take a look for yourself at try.auvik.com/Dave-MSP. Thanks for listening. Today is National Dream Destination Day. So take a moment, dream about that place you want to go on vacation. Plus, subscribers get a bonus segment today about hiring AI and return to the office with a ton of new data. Want more from the Business of Tech? Join Business of Tech Plus for ad-free episodes, early interviews, extended cuts, subscriber-only shows, and exclusive member perks and analysis. Sign up at businessof.tech/plus. And follow this show in your podcast app, and if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss a story. Reviews and comments help spread the word too. Interested in advertising? Head to mspradio.com/engage. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next episode.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.